everybody, and welcome to For Unlawful Cinematic Knowledge, Episode 7. I'm your host, Kolleen Carney Hoepfner. I am a contributing editor and Southern California booth gal for Fangoria. I'm the former EIC of Drunk Monkeys, RIP, and the co-host of the Drunk Monkeys Logcast, which maybe by the time this airs, we'll be back. We're trying to get our act together. Today, I am so happy to be joined by BJ Colangelo. Colangelo is a green-haired, mouthy Midwest broad in LA who works as an entertainment journalist, film theorist, media analyst, author, podcaster, sensitivity reader, host, interviewer, and consistent contributor to physical media releases because none of us are allowed to have one job anymore. Thank you so much for being here, BJ.
Oh my goodness, thank you for having me.
We're here to talk about the 1999 film Cherry Falls, which was
Mm,
new to me. And I'm so glad that you chose this because I highly enjoyed this movie. I had a
I'm
lot
so
of fun
glad
with
I could
this.
pop your cherry in this
Yeah,
regard. Like,
right.
that's all I ever want to do.
I was like, oh, I get it. Cherry Falls. Like, way later than I should have put it together. um, just some little info about the movie, and you can jump in if people tend to know these things more than me. This was a 1999 release overseas, um, and it seems like it got pushed because of the Columbine
Hmm.
shooting. It was written by Ken Selder and directed by Jeffrey Wright. Not that Jeffrey Wright, the other Jeffrey Wright, the
Yeah.
Romper Stomper Jeffrey Wright. I literally clicked on the thing. I was like, really? And I was like, oh, it's a different person.
Yeah.
Starring Brittany Murphy, Jay Moore, Gabriel Mann, Michael Biehn, DJ Qualls, who is so underutilized in this movie. I love
I
him.
agree. I mean, he hasn't been the new guy yet, so we don't know what he's capable of.
Right, but I'm just like, oh my God, I love him. And I love when he pops up somewhere. And he comes in way too late for me.
I agree.
It was produced by Rogue Pictures, Good Machine Industry Entertainment. It was released in 99 in France, August 2000 in the UK, and then it came out in October 2000 in the US, but it was pushed to TV, never released in the theater, making it the most expensive TV movie ever made for $14 million. Dollars. And I believe it aired on the USA Network.
Hmm.
And because both BJ and I are work often in conjunction with Fangoria, I thought it was interesting that this was a Chainsaw Award winner for Best Limited Release in Direct TV or Film, Direct to Video or Film, and Brittany Murphy was nominated for Best Actress that year,
Oh,
which
good for her.
good for her because watching this, I was like actively sad again that she's dead. Like, she was
Oh
just so
yeah.
good in everything, and I'm so sad still that we
Yeah,
don't
it
have her
was
anymore.
it was a little bit of whiplash for me because I own this movie. I've watched it many, many a time, but I rewatched it after my wife Harmony and I had just done a hosting screening for Drop Dead Gorgeous as part of the NoHo Pride Film Festival. And so I got to see, the real the real depth of her performance where Drop Dead Gorgeous is the same year as this movie, and she's so bubbly and cute and giggly the entire time. And then in this movie, she's just in weird psychosexual agony for an
Yeah,
entire movie. And it was like, God, she really could do
she
anything.
was great. I love her hair in this movie too. I was like, this is so
It's so
1990s.
dirty.
Yeah, there's this one part where her mom's driving her and her hair's in like these tiny, tiny pigtails with like the back of it still down and short to the nape of her neck. And I'm like, I love her. I love her
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah,
So,
she looks incredible. This is one of those movies where they have the alt kids and they actually look like the way alt kids
yeah.
did in the 90s. They're not super stylized. They're a little, they're on like day 4 of dry shampoo instead of showering. And that just speaks to me.
It does to me too. I was like, there's one point where I was like, I think I actively have that outfit. Like when she's running around with Timmy during the big school meeting, I was like, I think I had that. Like, oh, she looks so good in this. And I agree, they all look like realistically the way their teen, I guess category would look. It's like they actually ask kids, like, what do kids wear right now?
Hmm.
Or something. I don't know. So, the main premise of this movie, for those who have not seen it, is that there is a killer in this small town of Cherry Falls, Virginia, that is like killing brutally virgin teenagers in the town. Um, so as I got through it, I was like, I see why they pushed this. There's like a free for all frenzy of slashing children at one point, and I was like, that probably wouldn't have been great right after Columbine. But
Right.
the movie opens with two teens in a car near the falls, and they're getting hot and heavy. And you know what? Actually, before we talk about this, is this a movie you saw when it first came out?
No. So this is a movie that I saw illegally, I'll say that much, because LimeWire was my best friend
Oh, same.
um, in back in the day. But this was one that I had heard about around the time that the movie Chastity Bites came out, because that's another slasher movie that deals with subverting the idea that virgins get to survive everything. And a lot of people on like horror forums at that time, because that's what we had back then, were the forums, were like, yeah, it's a lot like Cherry Falls with Brittany Murphy. And I was like, how in the actual hell have I missed a horror movie starring Brittany Murphy? And so then, of course, like the remedial Googling I could do at the time, it's like, yeah, this movie has been like unavailable and it's really hard to find. And luckily, I found it on LimeWire, downloaded it. I was probably in college at this point, watched it, and just lost my mind. I was like, this is so weird, because not only is it just a really interesting twist on the slasher formula, but every decision in this movie is a weird one. The way that the characters communicate with each other is weird. Brittany Murphy's relationship with her dad in this is
It's
weird.
weird.
It's so weird. I understand that it was also like one of the genres of kitchen design, but at one point they're in the kitchen and it's just roosters everywhere. So it's like, oh, it's cocks. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we're not being subtle here. This is hilarious to me.
I didn't
And
even
then,
notice that. Fritz noticed that and was like, "Hey, look at all like the chickens everywhere." And I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even pick that up." But
yeah,
her
yeah, it was.
relationship with her dad is, I just said right before we started recording that like I fully expected them to make out at several points
Like
in this movie.
the big one for me is when he's teaching her like self-defense and
Yes.
then he falls on top of her and I'm like, this is a rom-com. Like
Yeah.
what? I feel like I'm not supposed to be watching this. This is
I was like, this
crazy.
is so odd.
So this movie just has like a really interesting relationship with sex, and I am fascinated by it. And it wasn't until very recently, I'm saying like the last like 4 or 5 years, I think it was Scream Factory put out
Yep.
a physical media release, and I bought that shit immediately. And I have just been on a quest to be like, no, 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 you don't understand. Sit down, we're watching this movie.
I know this was so like it was just so new to me, and there are just so many points in this movie that I like absolutely lost it. There's one point where like a dad says to another dad that he doesn't think his daughter's like very fuckable. And I was just
Yes.
like, he's like, oh, you don't have to worry about your daughter or whatever. And I was just like, this is so bizarre, but it's also amazing. And I feel like
Yes.
everybody's doing a really good job. Like the last movie I covered was Fear.com.
Hmm.
It's not a
Hmm.
good movie. And there are certain points with that movie where I'm like, I'm convinced they found somebody like on the street and was like, can you just say these few lines? Because they're just so stilted and terrible. Everyone here is like giving it their all. I think it's great. Um, so, so just to go through the plot a bit, like there's the two scenes in the car at the beginning. They're making out. The girl doesn't really want to go all the way. The boy's getting frustrated. They're talking about like aliens, which I think is really funny. He's like a
Hmm.
sci-fi nerd, and they get attacked. This killer loves to incapacitate people with doors, and I think that that's very fun. He keeps smashing people's heads with doors. Um,
I also love that it's Jesse Bradford, like pre Bring It On. Like that's
right,
that's
right,
our guy at the beginning.
yeah,
Because this whole era of teen movies is such a like who to watch. And
yep.
knowing that behind the scenes, because there were so many teen movies happening at the same time, that they're all fighting for those same roles and seeing where they all shook out and who ended up where and who didn't get what,
It
I
took
think
me
is amazing.
It took me forever to figure out that I recognized our main guy from Mad Men. I was
Yeah.
like, this guy is so familiar to me. And then I finally looked it up and I'm like, I don't remember that character. Then I clicked through and I was like, oh, he's the equestrian kid that like Betty's like, my people are Nordic. I'm not sad. My people are Nordic. And I was just like, oh, because I feel like when we get to him, I feel like he's kind of the James Spader fill in. Like he has a lot of Spader energy in this, like the way he moves his
Hmm.
face and stuff. And I'm like, I know him from somewhere. And that's where it was.
Yeah, I know him because he is the not great boyfriend in Josie and the Pussycats. He's Alan
Yes.
M.
Mm-hmm.
And so every time I see him, I'm like, get away from her, Alan M.
Yeah. Ugh, whatever. So they get killed by this killer. It's not to go super into the plot because I do feel like that can get kind of heavy sometimes. But the killer is very woman coded. It's got long hair. You don't see their face. They're wearing a skirt.
She
So
looks
you're like,
like Gabriel from Malignant. Like that's
yes,
what she looks like.
I would not be shocked if the Gabriel's uh characterization was like slightly in nod to this because I had the same exact thought. I was like that
James James Wan, we know you're listening right now. Please
huge
confirm.
Sherry Falls fan. So then from there we go to another couple in a car and this is our Jody, Brittany Murphy and Kenny. And they are hot and heavy right in front of the house, which always cracks me up because I just never did that.
I
I'm
would
like,
do
I
it
think
on
it's
like down the street, like a couple
yes.
houses down, but never in my
No,
driveway.
I think it's disrespectful.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
the same way. What's also weird though is like I would absolutely like fuck in my parents' house if they weren't home, but I'm not
same.
gonna make out in the driveway if they
Mm-mm.
are home. Like that
Yeah.
there's the line there
You
for
don't need to
me.
see me making out. And the setup here is that Kenny wants they've been dating for a year and they have not had sex yet. And Kenny wants to either have sex or break up. And to be fair to him, a year's a long time to wait when you're a teenager and he's just like, look, like like you know what I mean? But to be fair to her, she's like, I don't want to, so I get it. And he's
Hmm.
like, either so they have this sort of like, are we breaking up or not? And the mom, the mom, Brittany Murphy's mother, interrupts them for a cigarette and then heavily flirts with Kenny,
Oh
who
yeah.
flirts back.
She wants to fuck her daughter's boyfriend so hard
There
and is
are
not subtle about it.
the family dynamics here are crazy. The dad wants to make out with the daughter. The mom wants to have sex with the boyfriend. It's just crazy. So they kind of leave it up in the air. Brittany's like, "Is this good, Jody? I should say, is this goodbye or good night?" And he's like, "It's up to you." So, and then of course the dad's like, "You're grounded because you're past curfew," even though the mom was right there. I don't know.
Whatever,
Um,
he's a cop and we can't trust his
yes.
his moral compass.
Yeah, he's the sheriff of the town and he sucks. Just like inherently because of that. He sucks majorly too, but we'll find out why. They begin to investigate the murders. They're like the girls always like very elaborately like set up. This one is nailed to a tree, all of her blood's drained. I feel like they set that up and then don't go do anything with that. Like this
Nope.
first one, they're like, "Oh, it's so elaborate," and then they kind of hint that the second death is, and then we just don't get anything else after that.
Hmm.
So, um, Jody has a friend named Timmy who is like on the school paper, and he's always trying to get like the inside scoop. So he's like, "Oh my God, those people are dead. You didn't know that?" They have this big sort of like counseling moment. There's, the sheriff comes in to like address the student body, and as someone who went to high school with like 4 or 5 people died my senior year of high school. So we
Oh
had a
wow.
really rough go of it. So um this was like very familiar to me and I was like it's really upsetting when this happens at your school. Um but this is where we meet the English teacher. And his name is not Mr. Tomlinson, which is what I want to call him because that's a name that makes sense to me. I'm gonna have to literally look it up because I keep messing up.
Marliston?
It's like Morlitzson or something. It's a
Morlitzson?
terrible name.
He's
Played
Jay Moore.
played
We'll
by
just call
Jay
him Jay
Moore.
Moore.
Yeah, that's easier. What is it? But I want to look though. Cast. What is it? Jay Moore as Leonard Marliston. That's a terrible name.
Apologies to anybody listening whose last name is Marliston.
I
That's
don't
a
think that's a real one.
mouthful.
I've never met a Marliston. I don't think that's real.
See,
Anyway,
and then tomorrow you're gonna meet like five.
yeah,
That's how
yeah.
this
My name
works.
is Jake Marliston. I'm like, fuck. I have to go edit all that out. um, this is where he's like the sensitive English teacher, and he's like, maybe you all feel terrible because you were mean to them before. I just think it's like a
Right.
very funny like way of being like, let's process our grief by like thinking of every time we were shitty to these people.
Let's immediately make you internalize these murders and make you think that it was your
Yeah,
fault.
in a way, it was your fault that they're dead. And we also get this bit where like we realize the sheriff and the principal, Principal Sizzler have some sort of like they know each other. They probably grew
Yeah.
up with each other.
Small town, everybody knows each other.
In the English, this does have a weird relationship with sex because in the English classroom, that one student is like, I wonder if they were sexually assaulted before they were killed, which is like just a weird thing to like. I guess it's like a normal thing to wonder, but like it's a
But
weird
it's
thing to really like go into detail about.
Yeah, that's an inside thought
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. Like, I feel like when we know how just horrific our existence and our world is, that's a thought that we know is probably like if somebody goes missing and they find the body, we all know
Yeah.
probably what has happened, but we don't need to say it out
No.
loud.
No, we don't have to like, and we don't have to get like excited at the thought of it too. Like, oh, I wonder if
No.
they were horribly abused before they were killed. It's
Right.
just a weird. I never had a conversation like that in English class, so it's just I don't know. At the cafeteria, Kenny starts sort of like comforting a different girl, which makes Jody jealous. A fight breaks out because a boy has spread a rumor that a woman has gone down on him, and she is upset that he spread this rumor because it's not true. And that is the setup for her getting picked off in the next scene because she is also a virgin.
Hmm.
Her parents leave and she waves them off, and this woman comes to the door saying her name is Laura Lee Sherman, asking for the mom, and then again like smashes her head in the door frame. I'm like, ugh. And murders her. The parents come home to her dead body, which is like attached to. It goes by so fast, and I know they had to cut a lot of this because it earned an NC-17 rating, and they
Which
had
is
to,
wild.
yeah, and they had to cut so much out. So I wonder if this was more gory than it is presented.
Yeah, I have a feeling it was, especially because this scene is very much the we're ripping off of the opening of Scream scene of like the
Yes,
parents finding the kid and it being this very traumatic sort of thing for the entire family.
right.
And I think people forget because the opening of Scream has been parodied so many times how mean, just mean
It's
spirited
mean.
and brutal that scene is. And I feel like this moment was trying to capture that same energy.
And I think it's because I'm a parent. I am increasingly sensitive to like these types of scenes with like children being killed and like the parents finding them and stuff like
Oh, yeah.
I have a really hard I never used to, and then once Lita was born I had like a really hard time with it. So I was like, I'm sad for this mom, but
Oh yeah,
also
my like kryptonite and horror because everybody has like the one thing that
yes.
they like can't do. The one thing, and it's not that I can't do it, it's just the thing that is guaranteed to make me upset more than anything. If a person being killed regardless of their age calls for their mom,
Oh, that kills
I
me.
I like lose my mind. I like can't handle it.
Ah, that absolutely ruins my day.
There's like something about the regression of a character when they're facing life or death that just like guts me.
Yeah. Oh, it's awful. Uh, and I do think that we were supposed to see a little more. She's like attached to like a ceiling fixture.
Yeah,
It's
she's
like
like
a light that
hanging.
looks like a wagon wheel or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, ew. So, from here we have this bizarre scene where the dad is teaching Jody self-defense, and it is very sexually charged.
Yeah, he's it feels like he's looking for an excuse to touch his daughter's body. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so
He
weird.
lands on top of her and it's very intimate. And he's like, I guess we should stop now. And I'm like, what is he setting up here? And spoiler, that doesn't really do anything. There's never this like weird incesty moment. But I'm like, what the? This is where I was like, what the
It's
fuck?
giving like Folgers like commercial
Yes,
energy
oh, the
where the
Christmas
siblings,
commercial.
yes, it's like that energy, but between a father and a daughter.
I'm so glad that that like picked up in popularity because like 14 years ago, I remember posting on Facebook. I was out here in Los Angeles for grad school and I was like, "Oh, it's incest commercial season finally. I finally saw it." And all these people were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I was like, "The coffee
Oh, I was
commercial?"
with you. I was
Yeah.
with you on this like years ago, seeing this and being like, "What? Why are we not all talking
I
about
was like
this?"
fourth year in a row, and people were like, "I've never seen that commercial," and I was like, "I don't know what to tell you," because this was like before, this is when like I was still watching TV as like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
yeah. Oh man, I love that commercial. Maybe I'll do a whole episode on that commercial. Anyway, so this is where we find out too that these children like there's no sign of them have ever had sex. Like the women are still, their hymens are still intact. There's a lot of hymen talk in this movie.
We were obsessed with like hymens as signs of virginity. I'm glad that like we're starting to dispel that myth because you could bust your hymen for any number of reasons. Some
Yeah.
people aren't even born with them. But at this time period, because like in like the late 90s, early 2000s, this is also when we got a massive, massive push of like the purity ring kind of culture of like people were like a real big push on abstinence, and so a lot of hymen talk became more
Yes.
commonplace. So I'm not surprised that it made its way into a script at this time.
Yeah, it's just and they're like, of course, there's no way to know if the boy was a virgin, but we assume he was.
He just was so
He
lame.
was
We
so like, no
know
one's.
he was not getting any.
They found this body. They're like, no one's fucking this kid. Come on. So they have virgin carved into their bodies. Um, so this leads to another insane scene between Jodie and her father, where he's like, "How far have you gotten base wise?" And
See,
she's like,
this scene just is so funny to me because we as the viewers know why he's asking. It's like, oh, they're targeting virgins. He does not give her any of that context. So this is just the most out of left field
"Yeah,
conversation you could possibly have with your father.
yeah." So and then she's like, it's weird too because she's like, I am growing up, but then she's like, but I am still your little girl, and he's like, I'm so happy. Like it's just really bizarre. I think that my parents are still under the impression that I am still somehow a virgin. Like they do not want to know, and I
What's
get
so
that.
weird is like my parents are not like, so my parents I know are definitely still sexually active. They have known that I was sexually active because I was sexually active very young.
Same,
And
yeah,
we have like a very weird sort of conversation about it in terms of like, you know how people will say things like, "Oh no, like your uncle's coming over, make sure you're wearing a bra or whatever," and it's meant to be creepy. Well, in my house, it was because my mom was like, "I think your dad's greatest fear is seeing you without your shirt off because if that happens, then forever the biggest boobs he's seen with his own eyes will belong to his kid." And so, like she said that to me once and I'm like, "Listen, I know that that sounds like really fucked up, but that's also very true. And it's kind of hilarious that my
yeah.
dad is like mindful of this."
My parents are Irish Catholic, so we don't talk about
Yeah,
anything.
big difference.
Yeah, yeah, we don't talk about
My
anything at
parents are
all.
like party animals who like,
I love that though. But I
yeah.
will say though, my mom is always like, "Ooh, your dad's so hot." Like they are like very much like still, and I think they do it to gross my brother and I. We're like, "Ugh, great," because you don't want to know that kind of stuff
Yeah,
about your
no.
parents. And I know like my older son does not want to know. Like probably when I told him I was pregnant with, there's 14 years between them, so
Hmm.
like he was probably horrified. Like I don't want to know any of that, but. Whatever. But it is a very strange scene. And the sheriff wants to tell the townspeople, and the principal thinks it's a bad idea, but they do end up having a thing, like a meeting in the gym about
Hmm.
it. Before that, though, we have this moment where Jody goes to Jay Moore's classroom and starts quoting The Hollow Men by T.S. Eliot. I have a
Hmm.
master's degree in poetry, so I was like, and she's like, he's just so great. And I'm like, he was not. He was a
No,
bad
no.
person. but that's okay. I didn't know that in high school either. Uh,
Exactly. In high school, it's some of the deepest stuff you've ever read.
right, exactly. And there's definitely some like spark between her and her teacher, which is of course like not great, but also like very typical. I think everybody had an
Especially if you
English teacher they
were,
were obsessed with.
yeah, if you were like the smart kid in school, like that was going to be a thing, especially if the English teacher or the history teacher, whoever, was also relatively close in age. Like Jane
Yeah,
Moore's character is implied to be one of those teachers who graduated not that long ago.
yeah. He's like my art teacher in high school, who I realized like way after the fact was like only 25 when he started teaching us. And was also a huge party animal and missed an entire week one year during St. Patrick's Day.
Oh,
Yeah,
well.
and came back with like a full beard. We were like, okay. But like like when you're younger, you just don't really think like all teachers are old to you. And then I was like, he was like not even 6 years older than us, I don't think. Like he was really young.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, so then let's see right here. So they think somebody's actually listening in on them, and they do this little sort of chase through the hallway and stuff, and they can't find anybody. But then like this is such a red herring because like they find a cigarette and Jay Moore just like tosses it and it hits someone's shoe, and I don't think we ever find out who that was like listening in on them.
No, not really. I think just maybe the implication is that it's like maybe Timmy because Timmy's like trying to get the scoop of
Yeah, he's always like
everything.
sneaking around, but like I feel like he'd be like, "Hey, Jody," because they're like friends. I don't know. It's
Right.
just a weird scene, and it's clearly there to throw everybody off. So,
Hmm.
so the principal doesn't want to have this big thing. He says we're gonna have a fuck fest on our hands if we tell
Which
everybody.
he's not
He's not
wrong.
wrong. And it's like, but it's like it's high school. And one of my notes here is I would have survived this.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I was like already way past the
Oh
point
yeah, I
of
was
survival there.
good.
Yeah.
Freshman year, baby, I was
Yeah.
fine.
I'm like, okay. I'm so sad all my friends are dead. But here I am thriving in Cherry Falls. Uh they is Timmy and Jody spy on this meeting. This is where we have this amazing moment where one of the dads is like, I don't want to have to lock my daughter in the basement. And another dad's like, I don't think you have to worry about your daughter. And he's like, what are you implying?
It's
It's like big
so
fight. It's
hilarious though.
like,
Like because nothing brings out the pettiness of a small town like a minor inconvenience.
yeah,
Granted, this is not a minor inconvenience. People are dying, but
but like,
like
yeah, like keep your kids home. They're like, oh my God, this is gonna be a
right,
nightmare.
right.
And as we learned from like, COVID restrictions, yeah, nobody's doing anything that they're
Yeah,
being told to
no.
do.
Why would
Um,
they?
so Timmy asks Jody to borrow her phone so he could be like, here's the scoop, like they're picking off virgins. And of course, the minute he walks off the screen, I'm like, he's a goner, and he is.
Hmm.
Jody gets attacked by this killer. He starts to like carve something on her. She fights back, probably using this horny self-defense that her dad taught her earlier.
Dad's
Um,
horny self-defense now on VHS.
right. Uh, and then she manages to escape, and her dad and like several other people are there, and nobody can find the killer. She gives them a police sketch. The dad seems disturbed by the sketch. And the sheriff calls the principal, and this is where we learn that they think this killer is somebody that they went to high school with, this Laura Lee Sherman. Um, and that they had recently traced her to West Virginia. So this is somebody they've had a history with. She's been gone for 25 years. Uh, Jody eavesdrops on it. She lies about it. She's like, "Oh no, I was just trying to call mom to pick me up." But then this Sandy girl, this like teenager, picks her up from the police station. So she's been there, I think, all night because it is
Hmm.
now the next morning. And she's like, "I'll just go to school." And I'm like, "You have not even showered." Like,
We've already discussed
yeah,
they don't
oh
shower.
yeah. So I guess that's okay. But like and this is where we find out that the kids are planning a huge orgy because they're like, if we have sex, then we will not get killed. Um and they're even going to this is so like off-putting, but she calls it a hymen holocaust. And
Hmm.
I'm like, that that's funny, but also like really not funny. I don't know.
Right. It's funny in the way that like high school edgelords
Yeah.
absolutely would make a joke like
Oh
this
yeah,
and
yeah,
not
yeah.
process how horrifying what they have just said is
Yeah, on like
until years
four different
later.
levels. I
And
should
then
not
it's
have
like,
said that.
thank God it's 1999 and none of this is going to be on Facebook to follow us for the rest of our
Right.
lives.
Right. I couldn't tweet this out. Hashtag anyway. And there's even going to be like a pre-game meeting after school where they're going to have tips and tricks about going to your first orgy, I guess. She wants to go to school, so she goes to school. There's a big memorial on the wall. Uh, Jody's like mobbed by the student body who are, I guess, either very happy she's okay or want info or whatever. The whole I like this because I feel like the whole day is like a powder keg and like they're just trying to get to this party after school and like the whole school's haywire. Like there's a
Oh, yeah.
reporter outside and they like mob him and kiss him and stuff and the principal's like, I've heard that this is going to be the thing and there will be consequences if people take part in it. The pep talk is so funny because the girl's like, I expect everyone to use condoms and I expect all of you ladies not to want to orgasm because it's probably not going to happen. Like she's very straight and narrow with it. Um,
She's a real one though. Like this is not going to be fun, romantic, exciting, anything. Like this is like they're kind of treating it in a way like almost like a business transaction. Like
yeah,
we all have to do this because we don't want to die, so just like be
it's great.
smart about it.
It's really her advice isn't bad either. She's like, it's not going to be great. But
Hmm.
and even before, like Jody's like, when don't you want your first time to be like romantic and special? And Sandy or whatever her name is just like, I don't want to die, so
Right.
we could do that later. Um, they have a little chant that I wrote down that I really really like. Hail, hail, Virgin High, drop your pants and fuck or die. I thought that was very fun.
See, like that's the kind of cheer that the neighboring schools are going to like yell at them for decades.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be like now. And people would be like, "Mom, why do we chant this?" Oh, they was a killer. Anyway, um, okay, she's back home with her mother. She
In the
brings
cock
up
kitchen.
in the cock kitchen. She brings up Laura Lee Sherman, and her mom's like, "I don't know who that is." While she chain smokes, she's like not good poker face at all, and she's like, "You should go lay down." Because she's like, "I promised my dad I'm not gonna go to the fuck party. I promised my dad I would stay home." Um, so
Her
instead,
mom is like given a real like Ronnie Blakely performance in this scene. Like it really just is that. It's wild.
I love how like she's like, "You should go lay down," and turns her back, and she's like all smiley, and then she's like immediate concerned face, like I'm hiding a dark secret. And she sneaks out, like she doesn't even sneak out, she just like walks out.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, uh, and then at the station, her dad is like, I'm going to West Virginia. I don't know where exactly they're supposed to be in Virginia, but he's like, I'm going to the next state, which I guess like in the East Coast, it's not really that hard to do because I grew up
Hmm.
on the border of New Hampshire. Like I can hit like four states in like an hour and a half if I try hard enough.
Yeah,
So
we used to make trips from like when I was living in Ohio, I knew a lot of people from West Virginia, and so like we'd go there if they were like getting married or whatever, and it like you could do that in the morning. It was not a
yeah.
big deal.
Let's see. So Jody, uh, so Jody goes to the library and I believe it's the library, maybe it's the police station. I don't know. I don't remember. But she's on the microfiche is all I know.
Right.
And
I love a
she's
microfiche
me
scene.
too. Me too. I love when they like enlarge it. They're like, wait, and it's like like that really excites me. And this Laura Lee Sherman has been missing, went missing 25 years ago. There's like a small thing like teen girl missing. Um, the she thinks she's being like watched by the killer, but it's the mom. So this is where we get this background about Laura Lee, and it's a very upsetting
It's
story.
dark. It's
It's yeah,
so dark.
it is not like this has been a fairly like regardless of the fact that like these children are being killed. It's a fairly kind of lighthearted and goofy movie, but then we get hit with this, which is like a weird tonal shift kind of. So we have like the mom says that Laura Lee was like this weird girl in school. She was very quiet. She was like very introverted, and that she had claimed that four seniors had raped her, but no one was charged. And she's like, well, why didn't like anyone get in trouble? And she's like, well, they were like boys with promise, which is
Hmm.
just a tale as old as time.
The fact that they're having this conversation this year,
Then,
so like this movie also comes out the same time as The Rage Carrie 2, a movie that I will defend to the ends of the earth, because they are both movies having these conversations like decades before culturally we were having these discussions of how often, like especially in regards to like high school and college age, like men get away with this stuff because people look at them as promising and they don't give a shit about the women.
yeah, yeah. And this just happened in England. There was just a thing where
Hmm.
the kid got like, I don't know, like a suspended sentence, whatever that is in England. And I was like, why? And it had like that trial had one of the victims, like I watched the victim impact statement and it was horrifying. And the judge was like, oh, he's a good boy. And I was just like, every time, every time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big hockey fan, and this has become like a big talking point right now with the most recent Stanley Cup, which thankfully the Las Vegas Golden Knights did not win because Carter Hart is the goalie on that team, and while he was acquitted does not mean not guilty.
Right.
There is an entire documentary about these five Canadian hockey players who are all like the absolute top of the league who essentially got away with something, allegedly.
Right.
Um, and it's just horrifying. It's horrifying to know for, we can't prove it, but we all know it's like, yeah, the reason they got away with it is because they're really fucking good at hockey. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something that will benefit a greater good. Like I don't mean it that way, but like that's their reasoning, right? Like
Right.
it's hockey. We can't ruin the
It's
season.
hockey in Canada. We
Right.
can't. Yeah.
But it just like it's like, oh, like these boys are 2 minutes away from graduating. We can't ruin their hopes and dreams of college where they're just gonna go on to like assault more women. The mom even there's this really I thought this was smart, but the mom even is like, well, she probably wanted it anyway. Like I forget exactly how she puts it, but she like implies that she either was lying or deserved it. And it really leaned more towards like she probably had it coming or whatever. And I thought that that was very smart because that is how a lot of people see these
Yes.
things. And
Yes.
and I think a lot of times people are afraid to go that extra step of like especially having a woman say, "Oh, she was probably lying," or like she was probably
Oh
deserving
yeah.
it. But this happens in real life constantly.
Yeah, we love to pretend that like rape culture is solely this thing that men do, and it's not. Like women
Mm-mm.
absolutely participate in this, either from internalized misogyny or their own sense of like survival. It happens all the time. And so it is a wild tonal shift because this movie is so silly. And then the stuff like the stuff to deal with Laura Lee Sherman until like the very, very end, which we will get there. But like learning about her story, it is taken very seriously
Yeah. Yeah,
in
it's like
pretty nuanced in a way that I'm like shocked came from this movie.
right, right. And it's just like I thought this was smart because I do think sometimes movies are afraid to have a woman be like, "Ugh, she was probably lying." You know what I mean? Like I just
Hmm.
feel like it's usually like women who are like, she was a victim and like we have to stand up for her or whatever. I don't know. But I just thought it was a very smart little scene, and of course Jody is like horrified by this, and she was like, well, what happened after? And she's like, oh, two of the guys left town, one of them is your principal, sorry, and then she's like, well, who was the other guy? And clearly it was her father, her cop dad, um, and she's like, well, he said he didn't do that because he was so drunk. And like, your dad,
Hmm.
he wouldn't have done that. And Jody's like high key horrified by it. Um, we have a scene with the sheriff at the Sherman house, and it's abandoned and it's in disarray and decay. And there's this like scary bassinet with a baby doll in
It's
it.
like it's like a real like Ryan Murphy basement in like an American Horror Story season.
It's like they watched Seven and they were like, okay, like what could we do? Uh, and then he gets a message from his deputy sheriff who's like, oh, Sizzler, the principal's secretary, called and he wants you to meet him there. Um, we have this amazing scene where Jody shows up at Kenny's house, uh, and she's like, "I want to have sex," and this whole scene is like her wanting to have sex, but she spends most of it complaining about her parents, which like
Hmm.
is typical of a teenager, but also not very sexy. Then she makes him bite her toe.
And she
And
kicks him in the face a bunch as like a power move, and honestly, I'm here for it.
I
Like,
love
do
it.
do it again, kick him again.
I love it. And it was so funny because while I was what this like Fritz came in at this scene, he was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like,
Don't worry
"Oh,
about it. It's just high schoolers getting into foot play. It's
yeah."
fine.
She's kicking him, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Well, like I do want to have sex with you, but like I don't want to have sex with you if it's just because you want to get back at your parents. Like I don't like that." And she's like, "Well, fine, someone else will do it then." And she like storms off. I like this dynamic with them because it is very realistic. This like we both probably want the same thing, but we just cannot get over ourselves to agree on it.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think it's fun. And he accuses her of wanting Jay more. And she's like, whatever. And she leaves.
Which is
Uh,
how you know it's true.
yes. So we're getting very quickly to the end of this movie. The sheriff shows up at the high school. The principal is dead with virgin not carved into his forehead, and that bothers me. If
Yeah,
not
it's
virgin would be okay, I think. Virgin not
I
doesn't
think
work
it's
for
very
me.
like it's a very 90s like virgin,
Not.
not.
That's how I read it too. But like put a comma or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the implication is like he should be a virgin because he's a rapist and like you can't like that's not proper virginity losing
Right.
whatever.
Right.
But yeah, virgin not it's just screaming 90s.
The cops are surrounding this party area with because they're like we should shut it down, and the sheriff's basically like you should probably just treat it like any other party and let whatever's happening happen until it becomes a problem and then go in. So we have cops like surrounding the perimeter of this like orgy. um this is where I wrote this movie needs 42% more DJ quals because we do have this awesome scene of this like
Hmm.
orgy, which is not like an orgy yet. And like all these like teenagers are like kind of picking the person that they're gonna hook up with. And
It's gym
there's
like it is like the worst. This is my nightmare because like first off, it is taking the same dynamic you have in gym class of like, well, who am I gonna pick for the kickball team?
yeah,
But it's with fucking you. Like that's
yeah.
awful, like an absolute nightmare. And so many of the women in this, like these like young girls, are raring to go. They've got like thigh highs on and some
I know that one
garters,
girl with
like
the garter. I was like, this is very fun. But I do like there's like I feel like if the implication here is like if I don't have sex, like I'm gonna get murdered, you would not be as picky. But like this one kid has like way too much cologne on, and this girl's like, ugh, and it's like just block your nose and just go for it if that's like gonna
right,
save you. But then
right.
the other girl's like, I like it. And we had like DJ Qualls with like this kind of nerdy girl, and I don't know, I just think it's really I love
It's
DJ
very
Qualls.
sweet. I do
Mhm.
too. He's great. And it's also just like DJ Qualls, you don't like any of these girls here. You'll figure this out
You'll
soon
figure it
enough.
out. I love him. And so this is a really like after such dark stuff, this is some fun levity because there's a lot of quips happening. It like goes on for a little while. Um, Kenny tries to hook up with the Sharon gal, and then is like, I don't want to do that. Like, I love Jody. I'm gonna leave.
Hmm.
He leaves to go find Jody. Jody is at Jay Moore's house, and he's got this big trunk, and she's like, "Let me help you with this. You have never seen Silence of the Lambs. Do
I
not
was like,
help
it
him
is the
with
most
this."
Buffalo Bill ass shit you've ever seen in your life. And obviously, because of where we are going, that was
Yeah.
intentional. Like, that
Yes.
is, this movie is not subtle in its references at all.
This
And
is
I
like
appreciate it.
this is like my fourth movie in a row where like a girl does not have self-preservation. Like in Fear.com, this like weird guy's like, I think you could be a movie star and meet me at this place. And she's like, really? And I'm like, oh my God, you live in New York. You should know better. But this is like, don't help him with that. Oh, he wants to put it in the basement. Don't help him with that.
No, absolutely not.
And they just have some sort of, yeah, I wrote, have you ever seen Silence of the Lambs? They have some dad talk, And then it's getting like increasingly unhinged, but in a way where it's like if you look back on the conversation, you're like, oh, that I should have picked up on that.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Mm-hmm.
she's like, well, what is in this trunk? And he's like, your dad. Maybe my dad too. I'm crazy. Uh, which is just so funny.
Just fully mask off at
Yeah,
this point, and Jay Moore is having the time of his fucking
he's so
life.
good in this. Like he's really fun in this. It opens up. The dad's all taped up in there. Um, he punches Jody to incapacitate her. So here's where we get again this backstory where and we see it like they show it to us where she has a broken down car and the four guys are drunk and they pull over and they recognize her and they all like pour booze down her throat and assault her and the sheriff is the last one, but he's like, they pushed me on her. They like made me get on her, but I knew what I was doing. Like I did do that.
Okay, so here's the thing. I am very like shocked at this moment and how they handled it because the thing that I think like even he is not understanding is that in this moment it's like no, you this is coercion by your friends.
Mm-hmm.
You are at both times like at the exact same time a perpetrator and a victim of this situation.
Right.
You knowing what's happening to you does not make this like does not mean that you were a willing participant in this, but the fact that you recognizing that you knew what was going on and like are taking accountability for that is wild to me
Yeah.
because like there's so many layers happening of what his actual participation in this mutual or like this multiple assailant assault is. And the fact that this movie doesn't let him off the hook like that, I was
Yeah.
like, this is unbelievable.
This is where I was like, I love this movie. Like this is where I was just like, holy shit, like this movie is is like way better than I thought it was gonna be. Like
Yeah,
I went
yeah.
into this thinking it was gonna be like another fear.com, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Or
Hmm.
whatever. But I'm like, no, this movie is smart and it's like doing things that are smarter than they should be for, what ultimately ended up being a TV movie. So,
Right.
um and so this is where Jay Moore implies that he believes that the sheriff is his dad. Like, we have the same eyes. Um, and that he grew up with his mother so traumatized by this that she was horrifically abusive to him, which in turn made him crazy. And that's
Hmm.
why he's like, how can I get back at everybody by killing off their virgin children? Which is like, okay, I guess I can
Yeah,
connect
the
those dots.
motivation is sure fine, whatever. The fact that his decision to kill everybody off while also looking like his mother, obviously very Norman Bates
Yes,
coded.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's he also has dedication. He got very good at doing manicures because he always has this like very nice like red manicure going
But the
on.
fact that like he's telling the story while he's very beautifully applying blush like to his cheekbone,
Hmm.
I'm like, wow, he's like great at this. Actually, he looks like he's like having a lot of fun with this. Uh, like for lack of a better term, sort of drag moment. I'm like, he's great at this. Whatever.
Yeah.
It is pretty funny. Like it's played off as a little silly, but it is very obviously like inspired by Psycho. My mom was crazy. Um, and he has this really good speech about how he thinks it's very hypocritical that he became a cop. And
Hmm.
to me, I feel like it's actually not hypocritical at all. It tracks 100% to become a cop, with having like these horrible things you've done because, as we all know, cops are usually terrible abusers. There's
Yeah.
like statistics that support that. So, this is not a pro cop show in any way, podcast in any way. So, here Kenny shows up and he's like, "Is Jody here?" And poor Jay Moore has to run up with like just his dressing robe. Like he looks crazy. And he's just like, he looks like very, very like, I don't know. It's like he still has makeup on and and he's like, what do you want? And he's like, well, Jody's bike is like right here at your step. So I assume she's just there. And he's like, no, she's not. And he's like, Why are you wearing lipstick?
See, and this is where the movie like goes and has that tonal shift again because
Yeah.
this when we get the reveal of like what Michael Bean's been up to, it's like, oh, this is really dark. This is really sad. Like, and this is a very fucked up situation. And then immediately it's like, nope, we're back in Looney Tunes land.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
are
yeah.
running upstairs in weird costumes, and logic doesn't make sense. And Jay Moore is at a 12. Like,
So they get in this big scrap, and Kenny punches him, and he gets an axe and like locks him out. He gets an axe to get back in. He like frees Jody and her dad. This is where like her dad gets stabbed in the throat, but then stabs Jay Moore with a screwdriver in the knee. The dad gets killed. They run off to the party. Like I don't know why
because
they would
where
do that.
where else are you gonna go? You gotta go where all the teens are.
Right, right. And then they're like trying to explain to this cop that's like at this south perimeter what's happening. And I was like, this the guy's dead. And of course, Jay Moore comes up behind him with the axe and kills him. They run in, and there's this, there's like a legitimate, there's like one couple slow dancing. And then they go upstairs, and there is like a legitimate orgy happening. Like they
Yes.
just have
Everyone
mattresses
be
everywhere.
fucking.
Yeah,
Every room, you like every place you could possibly
yeah.
put two bodies, they
They are
exist.
there. And there's this amazing moment where Jay Moore pops up and yells, "Class dismissed." And it's very fun. And then he just starts slashing. And here's where we're losing stuff because of cuts, I believe, because
Hmm.
he is slashing at whoever is near him. And it's really not very clear if he even kills anybody or if he's just hurting them because we're not seeing really anything. We're just hearing the slashes and seeing some blood get splattered. But um, there's chaos. Everyone's running everywhere. There's this slapstick moment where the deputy is trying to run up the stairs, and all these teens smash into her on the stairwell and crush her up against the wall. They all fall. Everything collapses. Um, he, Jay Moore attacks Jody, and Kenny attacks him. And they have this scuffle, and Jay Moore falls in the most insane way out a window, but then like takes 3 steps off a porch, like balcony, and onto the fence where he is impaled and killed.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is Looney Tunes logic. It is
it's
Looney
so
Tunes
fun.
slasher. It is a Tom and Jerry episode. It is nuts.
It's so fun. It's such a fun way. And then he wakes up but and like tries one more final kill, and the deputy unloads 2 guns into him and
You
kills him.
just Bonnie and Clyde's his ass.
And then we have this weird sort of epilogue where the mother and Jody are questioned, and they're like, we don't know why any of that happened. We don't know why he went crazy. It's like they just straight up lie, and then they go home,
Hmm.
and then the then the waterfall turns red, and the movie's over.
Yeah, with like the greatest filter you've ever seen in your life. It's so silly. And so this ending to me is like truly the darkest part of this
Yeah,
entire movie, which is that they learn everything about the father. They learn everything about what happened to Laura Lee Sherman and the butterfly effect that it has had on her life and her child. And they still
yeah,
don't rat dad out. They still don't do the right thing. And it's just like, yeah, that's the world we live in.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
like you learn what a horrible piece of shit or like you learn something terrible that someone in your life did, but because they were nice to you, nothing
yeah.
happens.
It's so strange. And it's like, I guess I kind of understand the mother, like, because, she clearly knew about this for 25 years or whatever. But, like, Jody didn't do anything wrong. So
Hmm.
what would happen if she was like, oh, while we were scuffling, he told me that my dad raped his mom?
Hmm.
Like you're not going to get in trouble for that. I don't know. It is a very dark ending. And then uh I thought that we were going to be recording at 9 today, and then BJ was like, "No, we said 9:30." So I was like, "I'll take this moment to dump out the terrible coffee I made and get a coffee because I live near about 900 coffee shops." And while I was driving, I was like, "Whose decision was it to turn the water red at the very end? Like, why were they like?" And then the waterfall turns red and credits roll. Like, it's just such a strange choice.
Especially because it doesn't look good is
No,
the thing. Like
and it
it's
didn't look
very
good
corny.
even then.
No. No, it didn't look good then. It doesn't look good now. I don't know. Maybe this is the full circle of the point you made earlier of like these elaborate kills with like blood and they don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. They're like, we need one more like little blood thing. We'll turn the falls red.
We're gonna turn the false cherry. Get it? Get it? All the
Uh,
cherries have been popped.
everybody's cherries with pop. Everyone's safe. Anyway, so that's the movie. And here's the thing. I came out of this movie and I was like, I am so glad she suggested this to me because I totally forgot about this movie. I had never
Hmm.
seen it. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, oh, I am having such a fun time with this. Like, I really, really thought that, and it's a shame that it is one of the many things that, like whenever there's like a tragedy, we push things off. So like after 9/11, like things got scrapped. And it's just sad that like, this I understand pushing it out because it's like these kids are just getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
Like people don't want to see that when a bunch of kids just got slaughtered in real life. But it's a shame because and it's a shame that apparently they can't find any of that like footage that they had to cut out. I guess they approached the director when they were doing the Blu-ray release and they were like, "Do you have that footage?" And he was like, "I don't have it." So it's like, is it just somewhere or is it gone? It's probably gone. It's like an Event Horizon situation.
Yeah. It's gonna be found in somebody's weird vault
Yeah,
like 30 years from
I
now. Like
said
that's what's gonna happen.
last night I was at a comedy show at Killer Fitness, and I was talking to Jarrett Rivet about this movie, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's a shame that they don't have that footage." And I'm like, "It's probably in someone's basement." Like,
Hmm.
and in like 20 years, someone's gonna be like, "What the hell's this?" And they're gonna be like, "Holy
Yeah.
shit, it's the Cherry Falls cut scenes." So, but yeah, I was just like, I had a lot of fun with it, and even with those darker moments, I thought it was smart. It was,
Yeah. One of the reasons I love this movie so much is that like there's so many things about it that you can look at and go, well, this is like bad. Like this is a
yeah,
ridiculous bad thing. But it has something to say. It's so ahead of its time in the conversations it's having about sexual violence. And this is one of those movies that I would like give a limb to see remade because I think that there's such good bone like there's such good bones here and like
mm-hmm,
there's pretty decent meat here too.
yeah,
But it could just like use a little bit more polish, a little bit more finessing through the conversations we've had in 20 years because I think that this movie is still also incredibly relevant. Unfortunately, wish that it wasn't, but it is. And this movie, so many people are just like, oh well, that movie's a joke, like it's bad, Jay Moore is in drag and there's all this weird incestuous home like eroticism happening in this movie. It's like, yeah, but that also kind of points out like how just weird sex is just period. Like it's a
yeah.
weird thing that we do.
And it's weird, like the whole concept of virginity, and when you're a teenager and you're like, I have to lose my virginity, like I'm missing out. And then when you look back on
Yeah.
it, like as an adult, you're like, who gives a shit about that?
Yeah, who
Like I don't,
cares?
and I will say I was lucky enough that like, the first person I ever slept with was a very lovely person who like respected me and cared about me, and we had a wonderful, relationship. And then we stayed friends after. And unfortunately, he passed away in 2014. But like, we were very close, and he was just lovely. And I'm like, I'm grateful because I know a lot of people who are like, ugh, like the first person,
Yeah.
ugh. And I'm like, I did not have that experience, and I'm glad because I've had a lot of terrible experiences. So the fact that I can look back on that and be like, oh, at least that was kind of like what what you think about as a younger person, and you're like, oh, I want my first time to be like this. Like it was kind of like that for me. I'm lucky in
Oh
that.
yeah. I
But
mean, and when
the
you're
concept of virginity as a whole is just what the fuck are you talking
yeah,
about?
who cares? But like when you're 14, like it really does feel like it's the most important thing that you're ever going to do. And then in the
Hmm.
case of this, like they're all seniors, it does feel life or death.
Yeah.
Whether or not you're getting some does feel like life or death. And so making that textual, I think is clever.
Yeah. And the teen slut population is underrepresented in this movie. We do not hear from anyone who's like, "Pff, I'm all right then."
See, and that's again, like that's why I would love to see a remake of this
Yeah,
because I would love to see like all of the quote unquote like bad influence kids like have their time to shine. I would
yeah,
love to see friend groups get torn apart when you realize like, oh, you've been lying to me about
yeah,
this, or like, you know, a bunch of guys who have been like saying, you know, speaking big game in the locker room suddenly have to come clean and admit that they've been virgins this whole time.
yeah.
Like there's so much like material here that we could be working with.
We have no real LGBTQ like representation
I
either.
like Timmy is coded, and
Yeah,
that's kind of the extent.
Timmy is super coded, and we have this one moment where like this guy like sidles up to the girl, and she's like, "Yeah, okay, like you're clearly gay.
Yeah.
Like you just need to come to terms with it or whatever." But it's like, are the gay kids having sex too? And do they have to have sex like with
Yeah,
like
like are gay kids immune
what
to
are
this?
the
What
what
happens
are
if
the
you're the only gay
parameters?
kid at Cherry Falls High? Like what do you
Yeah,
do
like
in
I
that
gotta take one
situation?
for the team, I guess. Like,
Right. Like
what are the
there's
parameters of the
yes, like this is
virginity?
and this is why I want to remake. This is I want to remake this movie. Like more than anything.
I
Somebody let
think
me write the screenplay.
I think we should approach people and be like, I think you should let BJ do this.
I'm just
And
gonna
I'll come
walk
along for the ride.
I'm just gonna
I'll
walk onto like Shark Tank and I'm gonna be like, "Dear sharks,
you're like, okay,
here's
Mr.
the thing."
Wonderful. There was a movie called Cherry Falls. What if he was like,
Yes.
what if one of the sharks was like, I love that movie? That would be so crazy. Oh my God.
Mark Cuban's like, I remember this movie. And
He
you're
sits
like,
back with his pen. He's like,
all right.
well, is there anything you would like, any final thoughts? Anything you want to promote? Like this is your time to shine.
Sure. I mean, so I will say a very fun game to play if you are somebody who does pursue libations is if you drink every time Brittany Murphy says, Daddy,
Daddy.
you might have to have your stomach pumped, but it's a very fun time because everybody forgets like halfway through because it happens so often that nobody ever like actually fulfills that game. But it is really fun to like drink every time you notice something like sexual in a way that should not be sexual, like very, very fun. But I am just so happy that I could be here. For those that know me from like my horror stuff, I write over at Fangoria. I write, you know, at Slash Film. But then my wife Harmony and I also run a podcast called This Ends at Prom, where we talk about movies about or marketed towards teen girl audiences. Cherry Falls will absolutely end up there one day, and I'm sure we're gonna have like a whole trans conversation
Yeah.
about what
Oh
the fuck
yeah.
is going on with Jay Moore in this movie. But yeah, this movie make a double feature with the Rage Carry 2, have like a weird ahead of its time movies marathon of like or double feature of movies that people think are bad but are actually like really smart about their sexual politics.
I should revisit The Rage Carry too because I saw that in theaters and I don't remember having any opinion of it one way or the other. Like
It's gonna blow your mind.
for the
It's
most
gonna blow
part,
you're gonna rewatch it and be like, this is the Kavanaugh. Like,
yeah.
what is happening?
What's going on? I will rewatch it because I'm gonna write down because I'll forget. But I do remember seeing it in a theater, and but like usually I'm like, oh yeah, I remember being like, even if I don't remember the movie itself, I remember my reaction to it, and this is just like a clean slate. I don't remember anything about it.
Amazing.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really
Yes, thank you
appreciate
for
you.
having me.
Thank you, listeners. If you like this podcast, I guess you can I'm still very new to this
You have to do your
podcasting.
rate, review,
Yeah,
subscribe,
right.
5 stars. It
Yeah.
really helps the algorithm, which it does.
I get when I talked to the Puppet Masters and Castle Freaks guys, they were like, "What is your like? Are you looking to make money?" And I'm like, "I don't give a shit if even two people listen to this." And they were like, "Oh, well then this is what you do." But if you do like the show, yeah, give it a like or a rating or subscribe to it or whatever. Our next episode will be X-Ray with Sharai, also from Fangoria.
Amazing.
Very excited to talk about that one because she's like, I fucking hated that movie. And I'm like, great, because I love it. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you, BJ, again. Goodbye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Bye.